Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first Monday of the month, Greater Mattapan Neighborhood Council monthly meeting. Today is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. We have a full agenda. And as such, we're going to start off with our first guest, Shani Fletcher, who is the director of Grow Boston. And she's going to speak about the RFP, I believe, that's happening at the Foley site um, on River Street. So Shani, if you'd like to take over.
Yes. And I can share, yes, slides.
Yes, you can share.
Okay, great. Um, just making sure. Okay, are you seeing the slide?
Yes, we are seeing the
Great.
slide.
Perfect. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Shani Fletcher. I'm the director of Grow Boston, which is the City of Boston's Office of Urban Agriculture. And I'm here to talk about the farm that we are hoping to build in front of the BPHC campus named Mattapan Heights. We're sort of tentatively using the term River Street Farm. I'll talk more about this, but that's definitely just a placeholder. Um, and some of you may have, there we go. Some of you well, let me just start with this. So we, as the Office of Grow Boston, the Office of Urban Agriculture, we've been speaking with Boston Public Health Commission for a while and been exploring the possibility of creating a half-acre farm on River Street on that Mattapan campus. And I'm going to show you several images to show exactly where the site will be, but I wanted to give a little bit of an overview. And I know people have been hearing conversations about possible farming at this site for a while. And I don't know if anyone here was involved in the community engagement process that we did a couple of years ago, where we had a Mattapan committee and an event in Mattapan gathering input. And one of the things that came out of that, one of the recommendations was to pursue farming on this site. So it's been percolating for a long time. And Boston Public Health Commission has agreed, and we've signed an MOU with them, a memorandum of understanding, to build out a farm on that campus. That would be about half an acre in size. And just in case you don't know what an acre is, that's about 22,000 square feet. So we just to give a sense of scale, the many of the farms in Boston, like when are able to start a new farming site in Boston or a new community garden, those are usually between like 5 and 6,000 square feet. Occasionally, we have capacity. We find something that's like 10,000 square feet. If you're familiar with the Bird Street Farm that Boston Farms is going to be building, that's near Upham's Corner. That is a site that is 10,000 square feet. So this will be about double that. I don't know off the top of my head how big the Urban Farming Institute site is, but um, I think they're probably close to half an acre, but I'm not, it might be a little bit smaller than that. Um, so the food produced here, and I will talk more about this in detail as well, will be serving people experiencing food insecurity. That will be the destination and the reason for the farm. And I wanted to also give just a definition for folks who might not know. A distinction between a farm and a community garden. So the way that we talk about these terms in Boston is that a farm is when people are growing food to distribute to others primarily, and a community garden is where, and that's usually like one group of people. Even if volunteers come in, there's like a staff or a team of volunteers consistently who are farming that land and growing food to distribute either for free or for sale. And then community garden is where usually people have individual plots. Occasionally there's a hybrid model called a community farm, but I won't get into that right now. But a community garden is mostly where people have individual plots where they're growing for like themselves and their family, their neighbors, but they're distributing it just at a small scale to the people in their life. And like you might have like 50 gardeners or 10 gardeners or 150 gardeners in one space, but everybody's growing individually and separately, as opposed to like having a whole field where you're growing like a bunch of tomatoes that are going to go to like market. So this will be a farm, and we don't have a name yet. We've been using different names as placeholders, and we'll figure out what that name will be later. So this is the location. So this is obviously River Street, the Ponset River. This is the very large campus. I don't have a whole, I think the next slide might show a little bit more, but this whole campus here is owned by the Boston Public Health Commission. And actually, I'm going a little too far. It's like this. You're seeing my mouse move, right? Great. Yeah, I accidentally started bringing in other people's houses. That's not what I meant to do. But like this here is all their campus, and this half acre is where we would be building this farm. And so if you take, this is the satellite view, you can get a better view of it here. Um, this is where there's a couple of different programs here. Maybe everybody knows this, but I just wanted to, for anyone who doesn't, there's a housing development right here. There's another up here. I don't want to send my mouse too far, but further, a little bit further north. And yeah, and then there's a senior residences right here. So those are some of the folks who are nearby to the site. And I think you can see that blue, that you'll see that, whoops. Oh no, it's not going backwards. There we go. This blue rectangle is exactly where the farm would be. This is a street view from the corner of that parcel, and I wish I'd put one in from here. You can see a little bit bigger how big it is from this corner, but it's a big site. I mean, half an acre is not, it's not small. And it's very sunny. This is south facing, so the sun's coming in from this side, and it'll be sunny all day, and it'll be really a good space to grow a lot of food in. So the plan for how this will work is that Grow Boston, so we signed this memorandum of understanding with Boston Public Health Commission. It's a 5-year MOU, which would be revisited as we get closer to that time. We will oversee the design and the construction and the operations. And we will contract. So what Fatima was referring to earlier, the RFP, we will do an invitation to bid technically for the building out of the farm. And that will probably happen this year. I'll talk more about the timeline in a moment. And then we would do a separate contract for the operation of the farm. So those will be two different possible contracts. And the food will be distributed through Shirley's Pantry, which is on site. If folks are not aware of it, there's a pantry. It's got to be like a 90-second drive or something from the farm. It's like almost impossible to get more local than that. So that's the way we will be distributing the food. And then for people to have a sense of what like will be on the site. So there will be a field or fields, a shed, a wash station for washing vegetables, a shade structure for people who are working there and visiting there to be, not have to be out in the heat all the time, a cooler to store the food. We think there will probably, this is expected components, so just to be clear, this is not a definite list. The design hasn't yet happened, but this is like the sort of the basics of what we expect. A cooler, a fence, a water connection, and walkways, like stone dust pathways, basically, all on that same rectangle. And this is a rendering that's just like an illustration of what it could look like from the street. It's not, it won't look exactly like this. And we actually think it's more likely that the structures you'll see here, shade structure and that kind of stuff, would probably go more over on this side. But this will give you a sense of like, if you're driving down the street, what will you see? You would see like a little bit of fence line, and you would see, I don't know, there will be some right there. It might be just one there on the outside, in the back on the sides. And then you'll see plants, and you'll see these couple little small structures. Nothing major. Oops, it keeps doing that. So this is the very draft timeline. And this, I'll spend a little bit more time on this so folks have a sense of what is expected, what these phases are expected to be like. I am not an expert on the archaeological testing, but I'll talk a little bit about it. I've just been learning about it myself. I know more about the other phases. So this is in an archaeologically sensitive area, which you all may already know as well. One thing that I learned recently was that it's between like an important crossing of the river and a waterfall. And so there's what we were told in a meeting with the archaeology team was that it's possible that this is a space that is very important and it has a lot of artifacts and was very used in native times. And it's also possible, I shouldn't say native times, native people are still here, but in hundreds, thousands of years ago. But it's also possible that it was more of just like the in-between space and is not actually that significant, but it's called an archaeologically sensitive area because it could be that it has some archaeological significance. And that means that we were going to proceed with soil testing at the very beginning of spring and design, and we need to start with the actual archaeological testing to see what are the layers that are there in the soil, what is the what eras do those layers represent, and what do we need to be like looking for as we're doing soil testing. And one of the reasons that we're doing this is that we want to use the native soil. I mean, we would have to do this process anyway, but we want to use the native soil versus like taking a bunch of soil out and bringing in a bunch of soil. So we started looking at how should we do some testing to make sure the soil is safe, and what do we need to add to make it suitable for growing food. And then we spoke with the Office of Historic Preservation, because this whole site is on the National Historic Register, and they said, oh, we need to talk to archaeology. And so that's how we got into this point of adding this first phase, to make sure that we're and basically what would probably result from the archaeological testing is that we would find out maybe there's some small area that we shouldn't be growing food, or that we shouldn't be, making part of the farm, or more likely that we would need to, as we do soil testing, they would want to do like sifting through the soil to find any materials or any artifacts that might be there. And they would be able to define what pieces of the site that would be important to do that for. So that will happen in like early spring. And that will definitely involve a community engagement component. There will also be opportunities for people in the community to volunteer if you're interested. So you can definitely reach out to me if you're interested in that phase, and I will keep you in the loop on that. We are the Massachusetts and Wampanoag people are being notified nowish, and then we will be submitting, well, not we, but the Office of Archaeology will be submitting the permit application to dig. And so that will all precede any digging, and then digging won't happen until the soil is like available and not frozen. So that won't be till like March, April. Then soil, and I think there also will be opportunities for us to like come back, if that would be of interest, for the archaeology team to actually talk in more detail about that work. Then soil testing will happen after that. So once we get the go ahead, we'll be able to we have a team already on contract with the Mayor's Office of Housing, which Grow Boston is a part of, that's doing the soil testing and design. So they'll be doing testing once the archaeology team says go ahead. They'll be doing some testing related to stormwater and to soil health and contaminants. We know that we don't have any evidence that there was anything on the site ever that would have like for example, like a gas station or anything like that, or even a house. But we need to just make sure that the soil is in good shape, especially because we want to use it for growing. And then I thought there was a question. Let me pause and just see if that was. Oh, okay. It was information, not a question. I'll read that in a second. Thank you. Oh, geez. Keep doing that. Okay, so soil testing will happen in the spring, and then design will build off of that. So it'll affect how where we put the wash station, because we know where the drainage is going to go and that kind of thing. So that's why that's why the timing of those two things. And then hopefully by the summertime we would be able to bid out for construction. So then we would seek a contractor to build the farm based on the designs that we've created. One thing I skipped, actually, that I meant to say specifically, is that the design process will involve a phase of feedback from the community. So we, because it's built into the system of developing a large farm, we have to do a comprehensive farm review. And so the planning department runs that process. And so we'll have a draft design. They will look at it. There will be a comment period, a chance for folks to give feedback, and then eventually it will get finalized. And then we'll bid out construction based on that design. And then hopefully we'll be able to build it in the fall. Of course, things happen. We don't know for sure that will happen. That's what we're hoping for at this point. And then the idea would be to launch the farm in 2027, hopefully by the spring, if the build out has been completed. So that's like the draft timeline. This is the first like speaking out publicly, presenting to the public about this plan. So please definitely, I want to hear any questions anyone has. But also I would love if there's if you think of things, you can put this in the chat or tell me or email me or anything. If you think of other pieces of information that would be important as we go forward and have more conversations with community, that would be really helpful too. But I'm happy now to answer any questions you might have about this idea or this plan, really.
Let's see if I've seen these 2 minutes. You don't? Oh, Barbara Crusoe has a question. Barbara, do you want to unmute?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. That farm is located in front of the Boston Police Peer Support System,
Okay.
the building that's behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think most of you all know Cynthia Brewington. That's
Mhm.
where she works. And many times she's taken pictures of the deer and the
Oh,
coyotes that are over there that she doesn't leave the office until after they do.
you said
But
the deer
what are
and
you
what?
going to do?
Sorry.
Coyotes.
Coyotes. Wow. Okay,
Oh,
great.
I mean, it's close to Glade side, and Glade, we've got deer, rabbit,
Yeah.
coyotes.
I mean, it's not that
Uh,
surprising, but I just didn't know that's what you said.
but what are you going to do in regards to the critters
Yeah.
that use
Great
that will be
question.
there at their leisure to eat your food?
Right, yes. Well, that is the idea that what the biggest thing that we, especially in an area like this where we know there is more wildlife or more active wildlife, and especially more active large wildlife, um, the fence will be designed to, make its best effort at preventing. I mean, I've seen deer jump fences, so we can't say that it's 100% guarantee, but we will be setting it up so that it's not as easy for them to get in and eat the food.
Okay, what about the rabbits?
Yeah, are a great point too. I think that rabbits can be somewhat prevented by the depth of the fence. So I'm making note of all this. I mean, we'll certainly be um, taking precautions.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I'm just
it's a
want to
good
say
reminder.
this. There are raccoons, possum, the whole nine
I'm writing
yards.
the whole list
And,
down.
and, and I mean, I live what, one block, 2 blocks over,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in our yards.
Yeah.
So I know that these critters will be having a feast.
Yeah. Well, yes, like I said, we'll be putting in a fence that should be tall enough, and we'll be discussing this with the design team as well, for sure. And there's definitely other farms around Boston, even like Allendale, which doesn't even they don't even have a fence, and they're more in the country than most of the urban farms are. But there are definitely strategies to use, and we will be employing everyone that we can. And I really appreciate the reminder.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Barbara. Suzanne and then David.
I
Hi.
I only wanted to piggyback on what Barbara was saying because whenever I go by there are these huge crowds of geese.
Yes, I've heard about the geese too. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know how much geese eat vegetables, but it would be more about them taking care of their business. And we would probably, I mean, and that's always any outdoor food growing, you have that risk. But that's why a wash station is really important. So I don't think we would with a farm this scale. Sometimes people have gardens where they put screens up like over the whole garden. We're not going to be able to do that for this. So we certainly won't be able to prevent birds from coming in. But we'll do our best to, mitigate them. Maybe we'll put up a scarecrow or something. We'll see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. David.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Um, just one thing. I just wanted to make everybody know that the protective status for Haitians expire tomorrow. So that is something that I just wanted to bring to the attention of all of us, because a lot of us are being affected by that, especially where I work. We have people losing their jobs, and so I just wanted to um, make everybody aware that that's happening. But the other question I have is there going to be signage? That's
Yes.
one.
Yes, absolutely. There'll be
Okay.
some kind of signage. We think that we will have, I mean, we'll certainly have like a basic sign about hours of operation and contact information, all of that. There's very strict guidance from Article 89, which is how the zoning code addresses farming, that talks about like the size of the sign and that kind of thing. So if you've been to the Urban Farming Institute on Norfolk, you've probably seen they have a pretty small sign.
Mhm.
Excuse me, and that's what we would have something similar to that. But we do also think that, especially because of the archaeologically sensitive area, that there might be some nice opportunities for educational and
That's
interpretive
exactly
setting.
that was my next
Oh, that's what you were
question.
thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my next
Yeah,
question
we got
because
really excited about that
yeah,
possibility when we
yeah,
spoke to the archaeology team. So that's
yeah.
we do want to do something like that as well for sure.
Because I know that when my son was in school in Roxbury and he participated in the community gardens, or I don't know if they're community. I don't know anything about that. But it was an educational moment for him and got him interested in growing food. And I think
Nice.
that would be wonderful
Yeah.
if there's an educational component to that. And because I think this is great, especially for our community. And I think that where we're going, it makes sense to start doing things like this. I just think it's wonderful. And then the last question that I have is, what was the question that I wrote down? Um, oh, have you thought about any raised gardens?
Okay, yeah,
Um,
so that's a great
okay.
question. We did think about that in terms of this site, and basically um it's way harder for farmers to farm at this scale with raised beds because they want to be able to use tools and equipment that you're turning the soil, like you're turning the whole field, or you're fertilizing the whole field, or you're planting with some kind of machinery where you can walk and it's right in front of you. So in terms of farming, it's usually, I mean, there's definitely some farming that happens that is based in raised beds, but what we're hoping is that the soil will be healthy enough, and even if it weren't, we'd more likely bring in new soil and still farm in the ground versus building individual raised beds, because we think that possible operators would be very discouraged and not bid for this contract if they had to farm in individual raised beds. That works. It can work in other settings. East D Farm has their community farm sites, I think, are all based on raised beds, but though that scale is much smaller, and at this scale it's really much more efficient to have in-ground beds if you can do it.
And just really quickly, um, just some of the questions that were asked is that there are also some natural things that we can do or you can do to help with the critters, like, marigolds,
Yes, for
rabbits.
sure.
Don't eat those and having, it's just some all natural types of deterrents for
Yeah,
critters as well.
great point.
Okay, thank you, Jen. Um, so I'm guessing Fred, you have your hand up?
Yes, yes. Good evening. I'm just curious, what made you settle on that parcel of the campus?
Well, that is a great question. I will tell you, we tried to get the big one in the middle. We asked them about that. It's 3 acres in size. It would be obviously a tremendous food production space, and totally understandably, the Boston Public Health Commission was not ready for us to start with a 3 acre size farm. So they said we would be happy for you to pilot this on the left hand side with this half acre. And so I have no idea what will happen in the future. There's also I think the view of the senior residences building is critical to the historic preservation, but I don't think a farm would block that view. So we will, hopefully continue conversations long into the future about what's possible in that site, and there's many other possible uses as well, of course. So, well, maybe not many, because I know that's like you can't build a building.
Because from my perspective, the best place for that proposed farm is to the right of the oak trees on the big lawn, down near the parking spaces.
To the right of the park, I have to let me go back.
If you're looking at River Street,
Do you want
you're
to?
on River Street, you're looking at the Foley building. There's the cluster of trees in front of the Foley building. You see that opening to the right there?
This right here. Or you
To
mean
the
over
right.
here?
To the right, which goes down the center roadway.
Down the center roadway?
Yep, go.
Keep directing me. Left or right?
You got the big parking lot on your right.
Yep, right here.
You're going down that roadway.
Okay.
As you get to those little parking lots, there's enough space in there to put a comfortable sized farm right there.
You're talking about right here?
I can't
Where
see
my
where
mouse is?
I can't see it moving around.
Oh, I don't know. You can't see it. Whoops. Over here in the housing in the BHA development right here.
Oh my God, let me see. We got the big parking lot, right?
Yeah, I'm here at the parking
Oh,
lot.
all right, the road, you follow the road down where it curves to the left.
Yes, up here.
There's
to
a
the
piece of
left.
grass, there's a good sized piece of lawn there
Oh,
adjacent
over
to the big
here.
trees.
Okay, maybe you're talking about here. I don't know if this is where you're talking about.
No, come down further. Come
Down
over to your
here.
right. Come over to your. I gotta see them. I can't see it moving around.
I don't know why it's not showing up for you.
I see the cursor moving.
Can you see the cursor now?
I
I
can see it now.
Okay,
To the right towards the center roadway.
here?
I don't see the cursor moving. It's right. I can't do it. There's no way I can do it.
Yeah.
It's you see the two half moon.
Oh, Fred, you're muted. Can you say that again? Unmute and say that again.
Yep. You muted yourself.
Unmute
Right.
again, Fred. Fred, if you're talking, I can't hear you because you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
To that grassed area to the right of the big trees.
Okay, so here.
Yeah, you're in the ballpark now.
Okay. Yeah, so this is what I was saying. We asked them about this whole big parcel in the Horseshoe Drive. Or
Right.
not parcel is the wrong word, but this whole big area. And that was they were not prepared to turn that over into a farm at this time. But
because
then they suggested this site here, which is almost as sunny and is smaller, but it's still a large site for an urban farm. And I think especially knowing that food's going into the pantry, it will be good for us to get a sense from this project of how much food we're producing and how much demand there is in the pantry, so that if we end up with surplus food, we need to find other places to distribute it.
so
If we jumped right into the 3 acre spot, it would be harder to do that efficiently. So
no, I wouldn't be. I'm not advocating for them to take the whole big
yeah.
front lawn because the reason I'm saying because I have experience with that campus is to the right where we were talking about.
Yep.
The water connections, you have parking to the adjacent parking
Right.
lot, accessibility and stuff. Over on the other side, you don't.
Yeah,
You
there's less of that for sure. Yeah.
You have gas lines that are underground there, water lines that are underground there.
I'm sorry, you're asking me?
Oh, I'm telling you.
Oh, you're telling me. Yeah, we had to go. I mean, it's BPH. It's in their inventory. We had to go with what they suggested, and they were not ready to use that center area at all. And these other sites are already have things in them that would make it hard to farm. But this is a very good size spot that's flat and sunny.
Yeah. Now, how far are you going towards from that sidewalk or roadway? How far towards the wall are you going?
Well, we're definitely not going to disrupt the wall because we know that's part of the historic preservation.
Right.
So
No, I
we
mean,
don't know yet the exact feet that will be from the wall though itself.
oh, so you don't know how close you'll be to impacting the residences on what the hell? What the hell is that? Not Ridge. What the hell is that?
Newcroft?
Yeah, on Newcroft.
Well, so this blue box is actually a little too far to the left because you can see it's overlapping with someone's yard. So we're obviously not going to go that far. But
Yeah.
it's I don't know exactly the number of feet, but we'll certainly be in communication with these folks as things evolve.
Now, what impact is that farm going to have? Proposed farm going to have with the Spark Center that's there and stuff?
We don't know yet. I mean, they've been notified for sure that this is in the works. Both the programs at both these buildings have been by BPHC. I haven't been in direct contact with them yet, so I haven't. We haven't explored possible programming. We have a really strong partnership with Boston Medical Center. We funded a couple of farms on their roofs, and we're expecting to explore other possibilities with them in other places. So
Right.
I think that there's a good chance we could have some kind of engagement. This will primarily be a production farm as opposed to like an educational farm or a farm with
Right.
a lot of volunteering. So we're not sure yet. We're going to explore those opportunities because we want people to be engaged who are on the campus, but we don't know yet what those opportunities will look like.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Fred. We have time for one more question, Barbara.
Yeah, I just want to answer
Yes.
Fred's situation. Actually, Trinity is planning on doing some more construction on that area. So I think that's why they didn't want to allow anything on that right hand property there. And for the front lot, that nice greenery there, um, the the committee was talking about having events there. Like they've had a jazz concert there, and they said that they wanted to keep that open for that kind of
Oh, in this bigger area
opportunity.
here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mm.
No, the
makes
front
sense.
lot, that whole big area there, they had a concert, and they want to continue to do something on,
Right.
in that manner.
That makes
But
sense. I understand that.
they're still planning on doing more construction at the Foley for various things.
Okay. That's good to
So
know.
that's why, but I think what you all got is a good spot.
Yeah,
And
I do agree.
and you might want to, well, because BPD is over there, they may help support it because
Great.
they do have a garden at the area B2 on their roof.
Oh, no, oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, they have a garden at B2 on their roof right outside the community service office.
Well, I'm gonna have to go see that sometime.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
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 All right.
Thank you, Bart. All
Mhm.
right. Absolute last question for this topic. Pam?
Hi, I'll be real quick. Can you just confirm, I may have missed this, but this will be a public farm, right?
You say what you mean by public?
Meaning the folks in the community could come and purchase items, things like that. I heard you mention, your previous partnership with BMC and things like that, but I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah. So the food in this, if grown here, will be distributed through Shirley's Pantry, and I don't have a map that's big enough to show that, but it's you may already know it's kind of directly above this, a little further north,
It is.
and but on the same campus, and that's where the food will be distributed, and that will be for free. So yes, people who need food in the community can definitely come there, and you won't have to purchase it; you will just be able to access it. I will say that one thing we haven't, so as I mentioned briefly before, that we will be, we'll need to see how much food moves through the pantry. And if it turns out that only 80% of the food is getting consumed by folks in the pantry, then we'll probably explore with BPHC other options for what we do with that produce. So that's a sort of to be determined question. But it's possible other avenues of distribution will open up if that's how things evolve. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Fatima. Stop
Thank you.
sharing.
Do you want to drop your contact information in the chat if
Yes,
someone would like to
absolutely.
reach out
Happy
to
to do
you?
that. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to our next guest. We're going to continue the conversation. I know how many remember the Mattapan mapping project, which was led by, or is led by Alonso Michelle from Powerful Pathways, who is also a board member. And she's going to give an update on the partnership between Powerful Pathways and Tisch College Community Research Center. Alenza, you are where? I did see you.
I'm here. Do I have share access?
You
Super.
have share access. Oh, there you are. You're right next to me. Oh, sorry, I did not
All
see
right,
you.
no problem. I'm gonna go share my screen. Hi, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. It's great to see some familiar faces in the on the screen. I wanted to give a quick update about the Mattapan Mapping Project because we've got some new team members on board. I have a lot of slides here, so I'm not going to go through them all, just as a heads up. I'm just going to highlight a few things in the slides just to give you a quick reminder. So for those who don't know, my name's Elsa Michelle. I am a daughter of Mattapan. So I like to say I was born and raised here. I've been organizing in this community since I was 17. So it's been about 25 years now that I've been doing work in the community. And I'm also the founder of a nonprofit community planning and neighborhood revitalization organization called Powerful Pathways, where we do a lot of creative community planning, where we incorporate arts, design, and research to inform our work. So that's a little bit about me here on the screen. In terms of the mapping project, we have a broad-based set of partners and team members that we're working with. I have a core team, which includes myself, my collaborator, Lori Goldman, who is a professor and researcher at Tufts University, Abdul Saeed, who is a GIS specialist, and everyone, of course, knows Fatima, who is the chair, because we want to make sure that this is a project that's rooted in community. There's also been a number of residents that have also been involved with this project over the years. We started officially in 2020, but really this work began a few years prior to that, and I'll explain more about that over time. But since then, we've worked with Code for Boston, which helped us with some of the early stages of our online tools. We've had students from the Harvard School of Design, Northeastern support us, and now we're working with the Tisch College Community Research Center. And it's been going well, a lot of partnerships. So I talked a little about Powerful Pathways. Essentially, these are all the core areas of our work. We do ethnographic informed research, intercultural community planning, creative community engagement, social equity and racial justice training. And we also do unique program design and implementation as well. This is some example of our work where we would do, this is from a workshop we did around voting policy change. These are some of our community meetings that we've organized. This is an example of some of the research we've done along the Fairmount corridor, where we were doing research to track issues happening along the transit line and the neighborhoods affecting the transit line. This is another research that I was a part of when I later went to work for the Fairmount network, where we were looking at job attraction and retention in the neighborhoods. The Immigrant Entrepreneurs and Small Business Owners Forum, which is a forum that we organize every 2 years. We've also done a lot of work around environmental justice, like community solar, trying to promote solar access to low-income neighborhoods. We do a lot of work that involves young people. So this was an example of a project we did in Southwest Fresno, California, where we trained young people in digital photography so that they could take sites and reimagine what those sites can be re-envisioned as part of the citywide plan. And then there's a lot of public space activation that we do too, like the neighborhood walking tours. Some of you have been on the Mattapan neighborhood walking tour. We've also done different types of other projects where we bring art and programming to underutilized public spaces. We've done a lot of things specifically in Mattapan, like with Mattapan Food and Fitness. We were organizing harvest days where we would do celebrations and do performances at the farmers market. We also, for 3 years, brought the Fulani Haynes Jazz Collective to do jazz Sunday brunches at Brothers Market. At Brothers Restaurant. But all that is to say, I know a lot about Mattapan. This place is where I was born and raised, and I have deep love for Mattapan. As Fatima said, I was also involved in the founding of the neighborhood council. So this community is near and dear to me. So this project I don't take lightly in any way. So when we talk about Mattapan, we often talk about it in the way the media often talks about it. But I like to think about the Mattapan in terms of its rich history, and it's particularly the activist history in this community. So much of what we have and so much of our assets really come through community organizing. If we take a look at this Mattapan zoning, this is now considered the greater Mattapan area as opposed to the Mattapan neighborhood, because, as we know, the neighborhood has been shrinking on geographic maps. The boundaries of the neighborhood has actually shortened in size over the years, which means that we're dealing with less land that we have decision-making power over, and our voices our political power is therefore shrinking. Keep that in mind, because as we talk about this project, it's going to be it's an important piece of it. So the anti-displacement mapping project really began in around 2016, 2017. I was working with a group called Urban Boston, which does participatory action research. And we were doing a series of focus groups in East Boston and Mattapan, exploring how transportation improvements can potentially negatively impact communities. Because what we were hearing from folks, particularly what I was hearing when I was working on the Fairmount line stuff, was that communities were in East Boston and Mattapan were saying it's not that we don't want better transit, we're just afraid of the negative impacts. And so we need to inform policy to put protections in place while we're getting these new opportunities like more transit in our neighborhoods. And it was in one of those focus groups that somebody asked a profound question, which then became the basis for this project, which is, what do we need to know in order to know what we need to do to prevent and circumvent displacement? And how can longtime residents benefit from all these, growth opportunities and changes in these neighborhoods? So we know that Mattapan is a majority of color community, but within that majority of color is a lot of diversity. There are increasingly households are facing housing cost burden, and we're seeing that number slowly increase over time. But about 13% of Mattapan's housing is income restricted. In other words, there's a certain cap on how much you can make to help ensure how much there's a cap on how much you pay for rent in order to make sure that there's affordability. But if we're dealing with 68% of our households are struggling with rent burden, in other words, we're paying more than half their income to pay for their housing, that number of income restricted housing is significantly disproportionate. Now, I won't go into all the other data that we got around housing, but because we all know that we're facing a housing crisis right now, not just in Boston, but in cities all over the US. But it's important for us to understand what is unique about what's happening to us in that criteria. So when we talk about gentrification, we often, there's sort of a misnomer about it where people will say, it's people of color getting pushed out and wealthy white people moving in. And that's really just a small part of it. It's so much of a bigger issue that's wrapped around a lot of challenges, things like cultural dislocation, jobs that are not comparable to the rising housing costs, limited land use, which then puts strain on the market. And then there's also psychosocial, like the effect that it has on people observing these changes. So we went and did a deep dive. We did a whole historical analysis of the neighborhood and the history of the neighborhood and how it's changed over time. You can see in some of these images that we captured where we're looking at neighborhood change, including some critical moments in Mattapan's history, which continue to be a thing. Like, for example, Milton and Mattapan residents were protesting at City Hall when the Mattapan station the repair shop for the trolley where it is now, there was actually resistance to that. A lot of people don't know that because we love the trolley now, and the trolley is a historical piece to the community, but there was a time where people didn't want it and people were fighting against it. So we need to understand what those dynamics were back then. I won't go into this in too much detail either again because of time, but the long and short of it is we've been tracking the type of housing that's getting built. So it's not just enough that we need to build more housing. We also need to be building housing that's more comparable to what people can afford. And what we see here in the red is that the majority of the housing that's being built are at a market rate that residents cannot afford. Some of the things, all the dark areas represent where we have higher concentrations of poverty. As you can see, there are big pockets of that in Mattapan on this map. Transit is always an issue. There was that, popular report that came out about 6 years ago that, that showed us that Black Bostonians are traveling 60 hours more per their white counterparts per year. The housing burden also reflects not just renters, who on average are their median income in Mattapan is about less than half than the median income in Boston. As you can see here, the median income in Boston as of 2023 was about about 95,000, whereas Mattapan was about 48,000. Our area median income, which is a formula which affordable housing is calculated based on, because it takes up the entire greater Boston area, not just the city, is about 114,000, and that's still steadily rising. I won't go into this, but this is looking at the percentage changes of the Black population in Boston and how that has been looking in Mattapan. We also looked at zoning. We looked at the different types of 311 requests that we have come in since 2016. We looked again at rent burden. Again, it's not just affecting renters. Property values have also gone up for homeowners, which means your property taxes have increased. And for a neighborhood like Mattapan, where we have many seniors on fixed incomes, that also puts them at risk. And you can see it happens to be the neighborhoods of color where we've seen the highest growth of these property values, because those are the communities that are targeted most for development, because historically they have not been popular due to the history of redlining, segregation, et cetera. So that now we have this focus on those communities. Just to show you as a quick case study, this is 6 Deering Road. This is a property that was recently sold a couple of years ago. And if we work back in time, when it was based on redfin.com, it was sold in 2003 for $170,000. It was sold again in 2006 for $516,000. It was sold again in 2020 for $840,000. And in 2023, when I last checked it, it was currently valued at over $1,028,000. That's a 50% increase in costs in just 20 years. So we have the city doing its planning process, and there are other ways in which we've been engaging with community members. This is a quick sampling of the different types of ways we've been working with residents on this project through outreach, involving folks by doing the focus groups, and we've been doing a series of visioning exercises. We've also been working closely with the GMNC to do these oral histories where we've been collecting stories from residents, and co-designing, testing out the website and the mapping tool to get feedback and make sure it really meets what people are looking for. So here's a few examples of some of the exercises we did with residents. I think this was actually what we did with the young people. So this was from a workshop we did with youth when we asked them to give feedback on different things in Mattapan that they'd like to see changed, and things that they liked about the neighborhood that they'd like to see more of. We also, some of you have seen me at previous GMNC meetings where I've been asking folks to get involved. We've been doing field walks where we've been going around, walking around the neighborhoods in kind of like scavenger hunt style, taking pictures of things that we want to be documented into the mapping tool. And then of course the oral histories that we've been doing. So this is some more examples of data we've been doing where we've been capturing information about different development projects as well. This was from another mapping exercise we did where a resident said, we need to prepare the community to be more involved in decision making. And that's really what this project is about. It's about informing folks so that they're able to be more involved when the opportunities arise. Different active campaigns. We've been documenting and following different types of organizing that's been happening, like the third campaign, which means all new developments should be 1/3 affordable, 1/3 middle, 1/3 market rate. That's what some organizing groups have been pushing for. Anti-displacement zones, also known as special protection zones, community land trusts, the speculator tax, the university pilot tax, and of course, the emergence of neighborhood councils. So that's the history and the data that we've been collecting, and now we're trying to put it into this website. So we've already talked about why we need this tool. Data has been really difficult to find. Residents are mobilizing. There are lots of different planning processes that we need to be engaged and informed about. And part of this is also about rebranding Mattapan and destigmatizing communities of color in general, but specifically our neighborhood. So we are taking this data because a lot of this data we had to find on our own. It's not data that existed previously. We had to collect it and display it in a comprehensive but also cohesive way. So ultimately, we're going to take this data, we're putting it onto a mapping tool where you'll be able to access information about different sites. You'll be able to click on and listen to audio and videos of the oral histories and other storytelling from residents. You'll be able to learn about historic sites and sites of cultural meaning. And there'll be a manner of ways in which you can submit project ideas too. So if people see things, they'll be able to enter it into a form, upload the image of what they'd like to be added to the tool. We'll review it, and if it makes sense to add it, we'll be able to add it to it. Without going into all of this, we have a lot of different users in mind. At the core of it is always going to be residents. The community is the core, but we could see this being something that other people like policymakers, nonprofit organizations could also benefit from as well, even small businesses. This is a photo from one of our neighborhood walks. We walked up and down Blue Hill Ave and did a series of things. We not only took pictures to look at historic changes, but we also did a tree count. We also began to start taking some data, which we'll be finishing this spring, to calculate the different types of businesses that are along the different pockets of Blue Hill Avenue. We also been, again, taking data about the sculptures. But one thing I also want to point out in this picture is something that we noticed that we're also documenting on this mapping tool are the emergence of "We Buy Ugly Houses" signs and other signs that speculators have been active in this community trying to get information or trying to purchase property. And I've got a lot of weird stories, which one day we'll be able to showcase on the map too. Some of the oral histories. You all know the indemnable Earl Falk, and he gave us a really great storyline of storytelling. We also have other samples of that. If we have time, I'd love to share, Fatima, a snippet from your oral history. I see you shaking your head now. It was really good. The other thing that we're also putting on this tool is ways to get to be active. So it's not just about capturing data about the neighborhood, it's also what can we do with this data, okay? So just to give you a quick snippet of how to use it, let's say this is actually our beta interface. Let's say there's a development project that's coming up right where you live, and you start playing around with the mapping tool, and you say, I noticed there are heat spots, meaning there are pockets in the community that we're documenting where the temperatures are much hotter, which can lead to potential health risks. You notice that there's a giant heat spot right where this proposed project is. So now, rather than say to the developer, hey, can we have like a park or a park bench or something, with the new project, you can say, rather than do that, why don't you commit to plant 100 trees so we can have more tree canopies in this area to help reduce the heat spots in the community. So it allows people to have information in order to make better decision makings, but also to negotiate better community benefits for everyone. So this is a local project, obviously hyper local, but we really do see this model being a model that we could use in other communities, and we hope to do that. I'm going to stop sharing here because I want to just show you one more thing. There's a lot more I could share on that slide deck, but for the sake of time, I just want to show you all where we are with the project's, the current status of the project, because that's what this update is about. Okay, let me make my screen big. This is Fatima's interview that she doesn't want us to see.
No, I'm very serious. Please don't. We only have 4
I have
minutes
not pressed,
left.
I did not press play.
Good.
But what I wanted to show you all here is the website. So this is the working website, which we're soon to launch. We worked with, actually based out of South Dakota, called Lemonly, and they helped us put in animation. So when the site is live, you're going to see the little trolley moving around. These folks will be waving. You'll be able to click on the history, which will take you to this story map, where there'll be a whole host of background data on the information about the community, and also some comparative information about the community as well. So we got some comparative maps that we're doing where you can see different neighborhood changes and over time, and how things have been added over time. And that'll be really cool. And then we'll be able to go to the mapping tool. So these are all of our current partners right now here. The other thing about the tool is there's going to be a tutorial page with some interactive videos, so you can actually get to practice using the tool. And there'll be an action page as well that brings you to information. So by then you'll have read the story map, you've worked on the mapping tool, what's next, here's how to take action. So we'll have links to information like how to contact your elected officials, a whole host of data around alternative housing models, other land use strategies, and organizations that are doing this work both locally and nationally, and a link to the bibliography where you can or we'll have a static list of all the data that we've captured. The last thing is taking a look itself at the mapping tool. So just so you know, this was the beta version, and we already had put a lot of work into the beta version. But when we did 3 rounds of user tests. So we had residents play around with this and gave us feedback on it. And one of the things that they told us is they wanted something a little bit more sleeker looking. So we're moving this data into another feature in ArcGIS. So it'll be much nicer and more comprehensive, and you'll be able to play around with more data layers than with the previous version.
Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Alexa. We're
I'm
getting
done, actually.
Oh, good. I'm
all
not good
done.
that you're done, but I'm glad that we're able to. We have time. David, do you have a very succinct question?
I just wanted to just give one shout out because we have some of our team members here. We've got Elaine, Noel, Hashem, and Amelia. So I just wanted to acknowledge them. Yeah.
No, thank you. I was going to actually ask, David, do you have one question that you would like to ask?
Well, I love data. I'm a marketing guy, just in general. I think one of the things that we need to have as a community is a vision, right? We are now, and Fatima knows this, it has been said that we are underdeveloped, so folks are here. But I also think that it's really important to change the word gentrification, okay? Because typically it's not a good word. It means the displacement of inhabitants by wealthier people. And I do think language is really important, whether we use urban development, whether we use neighborhood revitalization, whether we use a different type of word, because that word is not a positive word. And so I think in marketing this, we need to think about that. But also, I think it's great to have this data and what you said for usage. We need to have a vision. I am from Mattapan originally. I moved back here. When my parents bought our house, we had doctors, we had lawyers. I went to Dr. Bryant. We had everything that you could imagine. We even had a movie theater. It's not here anymore. And I do think that, yes, it was then it became this, but now we need to have a vision of what it looks like. Reason why I like the urban gardens, just really quickly, is because I can't even get a salad here. Right? So we have to think about what our neighborhoods, what we want it to look like. And Fatima had a person that was talking about main streets and all of those types of things. If we build for businesses to come into it, we can have a community that works for everyone. But I just want to say again, gentrification is a bad word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. And yes, you're right. It's not a good word. I mean, it has a lot of negative connotation, and it should. We're not trying to promote gentrification like it's a good thing. We're wanting to explain all of the things that happens when a neighborhood becomes gentrified. Yeah.
But move forward. Think of it as positive. Let's not start with a negative. Let's go
Okay.
positive.
All right. Well, we're a minute here, and then we have the researchers, student researchers who have come here, and I'd appreciate if they would each come off of mute and introduce themselves, just so we know who you are, and welcome to Mattapan. I don't know who wants to start. Who would like to start? I can start calling out names if I don't see people I don't know.
I could jump in. I know we're short on time. I'm Elaine Donnelly. I'm a director of the Tisch College Community Research Center at Tisch College of Civic Life, and it's at Tufts. And we support kind of this broad definition of civic, and TCRC supports community engaged research. So like what I heard earlier with the community garden or the neighborhood farm, you know, and how local residents were talking about what was in the space, also what's under the space, and kind of like sharing that information. That's kind of a small illustration of the type of work we try to support. So this project is amazing, I think.
Oh, thank you. Let's see, next on my screen, Amelia Sedana. Am I correct? You're a
Yeah.
student? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a student. Hi, my name is Amelia. I'm a junior at Tufts. I grew up in Roslindale, right next to Mattapan. And I'm one of the research assistants on this project, and I'm really excited to be helping out this semester.
Welcome. Thank you. I don't, Noel Reyes. Are you also a student? Okay.
I wish. I'm Noel, and I'm director of community partnerships at Tisch College. And so I'm so glad to support this project. In my work, we try to find ways for students or faculty or staff to support the work of different community organizations. And here, I think we might have a match between the kind of research and research methods, particularly like GIS, that students are learning, and the needs of this project, and where it's going. So hopefully there's a good match here, and we can do something very concrete for Mattapan through this project.
Thank you. Hashim Aslaldi.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Hashim. I'm a junior at Tufts University and I'm majoring in community health. I'm a research assistant on the Mapping Mattapan project, and I'm also kind of local. I'm from Somerville, Massachusetts, so pretty close to Boston.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Who else? Yes. The names in them. Itself? Are you? I'm not sure if I've seen your name before.
No, I think that's it for
Okay. Thank you,
Tisch
Itself.
members.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Well, very nice to meet all of you, and we look forward to your engagement. All right. Thank
I'll
you.
pop my info in the chat if anyone wants to get in touch. We are going to be recruiting residents to help us with this next leg of research, and it is paid. We do offer stipends. We make sure that we're equitable around here and everyone gets compensated for their time.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate the update. And look forward to seeing the new website. Okay. Last but not least, Daria Leonaga, BLUME on the Ave. All right. We get the update here. Where did Dariella go? There she is.
I'm here. I shared too quickly and then couldn't figure out how to unmute myself. Good evening, everyone. Dariella here of DVM Housing Partners. I know most folks on the council know me. I am the owner of DVM Housing Partners. We are an affordable housing developer in the city of Boston. And we mostly focus in Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan. And most importantly, I'm a proud Mattapan resident, and happy to bring an update to you all on our project BLUME on the Ave, which is located between Greenock and Fabian Street. Just to remind us all, we have 3 separate buildings that are currently in construction. I'm sure you guys have all seen them, and we've been a pain in your side, but we're about 60% done. I appreciate everyone's patience with us through this process. But all three buildings are mixed use, meaning they have commercial on the ground floor. And we have 30 homeownership units altogether. I know we're short on time, so I'm going to keep my presentation as fast as possible. I did want to just share a thank you to everyone who came to our block party in October. We had over 100 residents attend the block party. Some folks got to tour model units during that block party, and we made a short video just to kind of sum up our time there and also announce that applications are now available for the 30 affordable homeownership units. So you guys can scan here if you want to see the video. I was going to show it to everyone, but for the sake of time, let's keep going. I'll also share this presentation so that folks can get the information outside of here. One big update we have is that the lottery for the 30 homeownership units is now live, so applications are now available. I want to remind everyone the unit mix. So we have one studio unit, we have 10 one-bedrooms, 16 two-bedrooms, and 3 3-bedrooms. Most of our units are 50-50, 80% AMI, 100% AMI. However, we did keep all of our 3 bedrooms at 80% of AMI so that we can make sure that folks in our community have access to those 3-bedroom units. So we wanted to keep those prices low. We do have mobility units. So we have 4 units that are built out for folks with mobility impairments. And we have 3 units that are built out for those that are deaf and hard of hearing. Well, we've partnered with UHM, our local Black-owned property management company, to manage all 3 buildings. So the condo fee involves their fee. It involves common area utilities, the out of unit water and sewer usage. So I'll update that on the presentation. A master insurance policy, landscaping, snow removal, replacement reserve deposits, and again, the professional management fee. Our one studio is about 560 square feet. Here you'll be able to see kind of the typical layout of the one studio that we have. 1-bedrooms, we have 10 of them. They're a little under 700 square feet. And here's like the typical layout of one of those. 2-bedroom, again, they're 16. They're average a little under 900 square feet. And you'll see here what a typical layout will be as well. And then we have the 3-bedroom, which we have 3, and it's about 1,100 square feet. One of the major things is that all units are fully applianced, including in-unit washer and dryers. We have quartz countertops, plenty of storage space, and each unit, for the most part, has like an open concept layout. Some of our units also have balconies and private outdoor space. Income and asset limit. So here are the AMI restrictions per household size. So the way to read this is for the units restricted at 80% AMI, for a household of 3, that household could not make more than $119,100. And let's say for a unit restricted at 100%, if you wanted to buy a studio or a 1-bedroom, you could not make more as one person. You couldn't make more than $115,800. Also, there are asset limits, meaning you cannot you cannot have more than $100,000 in assets, but retirement plans are excluded from that. So IRAs, 401ks, pensions, etc., are exempt from that asset limit. Eligibility requirements are you must be a first-time home buyer. meet the income requirements, asset requirements, and meet U.S. residency guidelines. We have some lottery preferences. So 70% of units will have a preference for current residents of Boston. The four ADA units will have a preference for folks that actually have that need. And we also have a household size preference for the 2 and 3 bedrooms, meaning that if you are applying for, let's say, a 3-bedroom and you're a household of 4, you will have a preference over a household of 2. And all of our units have a qualification for those who live in a qualified census tract. So as I mentioned, applications started, we started handing out applications or allowing people to apply on January 20th. We'll be doing so until Wednesday, March 11th. The ways to find the website, you can go, find the application. Our website is www.blumeontheave.com. You can email us at blume@dvmconsult.com. You can call us at 617-209-9262. You can mail a request to our office or even stop by our office in Roxbury if you want to pick up an application. The QR code here also brings you directly to the application, which is through the city of Boston. So once you get to that link, you want to make sure that you pick BLUME 1015 Blue Hill Ave as the option for the application. We already had our first information session last Thursday at the Salvation Army on Dudley Street. We will have another one coming up on Saturday, February 21st at the Mattapan Branch Library from 11:30 to 12:30. And those are hybrid meetings, so you can either join us virtually or you can come in person. All this information is also available at our website, blumeontheave.com/lottery. I wanted to talk through a little bit buyer resources. We have been working with first-time home buyers. We've helped about 80 plus first-time home buyers purchase affordable homes. And we've been able to help connect folks to down payment assistance, averaging anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000, depending on your own personal circumstance. So if you're a little on the fence about whether you think you have enough savings to make it happen, I would say just apply to make sure that you are giving yourself the opportunity to see if you can meet the eligibility criteria, both on the financing, on the lender side, and on the project side. You'll have to take a course, which you don't have to take right now to participate in the lottery. But if we invite you to move forward, you'll need to take a first-time homebuyer class. And on our website, we have some recommendations in terms of lenders that we worked with. But this is really for the application process, there's nothing that you really need to do in terms of engagement with lenders or first-time home buyer. You just have to fill out the application at this point. So it's really important that anyone who is interested fills out the application before March 11th in order to be in the lottery. The application should take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes max. Here's a tentative timeline on what potential interested buyers or lottery participants should look for. I think next month we'll finish the application distribution period and we'll be communicating with anyone who has any incomplete applications. March through June, we'll hold the library and we'll mail folks information on the outcome of the the outcome of the lottery. And we will invite folks to start moving forward based on their ranking, probably sometime in May. So that means that beginning of spring, buyers will start moving in. I think that was my presentation. I'll open it up for any questions from folks and I'll stop sharing so I can see faces.
Don't see any raised hands. So you said though that you expect that if someone has gone through the application process, has accepted an offer, that they would be able to move in, actually physically move in spring
In
or
the
summer?
summer.
In the
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you
Right.
rank high enough in the lottery, we'll start inviting folks to move forward with the eligibility process in hopes that the first closings could start happening in the beginning of the summer.
Okay.
So I think, this council has been working hard alongside me to see this project come to fruition. So now's the time to help us spread the word around this opportunity. Um,
The home
these are
stretch.
all these are all below rate condominiums for first time home buyers. So if you have any children that you're trying to kick out of your house, this should be an awesome opportunity. Um, so I think I'll ask the council to share the information out with members. But all this information is on our website on bloomontheave.com. And all the information is also on social media as well.
Great.
And that's
Thank
Bloom
you.
on the Ave on Instagram.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you all for your time. I know it's late, so thanks for bearing with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for such a wonderful development. Congratulations. I recently drove by and walked by, and it's going to be beautiful. I think the people who live directly around, I think they'll appreciate such a well thought out design project. And congratulations.
Congratulations to all of us because the council was a big part of creating the RFP, making sure that local developers were centered. So I think it's a win for all of us. And I'm just hoping we're all proud of what has been done there.
You're here. Well, thank you again. Let's see. Moving on. I think if Officer Nadia is still on, or Officer Hamilton, either
We
of our favorite people.
Good evening, everybody.
You mean we get 2 for 1 showing? Oh, pinch me.
Good
Hey,
evening, everybody.
good evening. How are you?
Very good.
Do you want to give an
Um,
update for our B3?
yeah, we don't typically have any update for this meeting, but however, based on the questions earlier,
Mhm.
we did have an incident that happened like around the Mildred Elementary School.
Yeah.
So earlier this afternoon, so we had heavy police presence. It was only because that we had a report from 911 that someone may have been stabbed. Obviously, it's juvenile involved, so I guess like there was a disagreement and somebody pulled out a knife in the process, like the victim had a laceration to the hand, the left hand to be specific. So obviously we had to take care of that, get him an ambulance and everything. But we did have a description of the suspect, which is another student, so I can't really divulgate too much. But school police have since taken that investigation, so they're gonna deal with it accordingly. That's pretty much what I have for you guys.
Well, thank you so much. And I hope that the student is on the mend and the schools are able to provide some support services for the community at large, the school community. Thank
Yes,
you.
I think school police will probably like take over and see what's the remedy.
Okay. Are there any events that B3 sometimes you tend to have events that come out of B3 that you want to talk about?
At this point, we don't have anything in particular, but when they do come up, either like send an email or we'll talk about it at our next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Barbara. Do you want to ask a question? You have a hand raised, Barbara. You're on mute.
I do want to say I'm glad to see Alyssa on. I mean, years Alyssa has been involved in the community. Second of all, there are some things that I have found that I think I need to show you, make copies for you, that are a history of Mattapan. Um, but I just want to say, one, this meeting is fantastic. It has
This is
it
all
has
people.
reached a whole lot of people. Earl, myself, Alenza, I mean, activities that we had been doing, what, over 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I just want to say, anybody who has any information about Mattapan, good or bad, I mean, Alenza has she has conducted a series of putting information together. I mean, Fatima has done it for over years, but I think what it is that Mattapan has had been that sleeping dog where people in the community who bought homes, they knew their neighbor, they knew activities and things that were going on in the community, and then all of a sudden, it's been kicked in. I mean, we've been thrown to the wayside. But I mean, as far as Alenza and Fatima have been involved, please, if you have any information, make sure that they're aware of what's going on and what had been going on. I found a lot of stuff that, unfortunately, I found stuff that I was moving things around in my house. And I found out that, oh, well, gee, the statues in Mattapan Square, there was certain things that were supposed to have been done. The Mattapan Square Tea Station, there were things that were supposed to have been done. It wasn't done. The Mattapan Library, things that were supposed to have been done. This community deserves a lot of respect. And I will reach out to Alenza, baby girl, honest to God. I I love Alenza. I mean, she's not related to me, trust me, but she has all my heart.
Well, thank you for
Please,
Feelings
definitely, if
mutual,
you
Miss
have
Barbara.
any information about Mattapan and what
yes.
has been done, please reach out to these sisters and this organizations because we need to suffer. We don't need to suffer, but we need to stand tall. And we need to make sure that this community deserves the information and the output that we do. I mean, that we. I'm scared. Earl, I'm looking at you really about Elmont Park. 25 years. How does that happen? And we don't have what we need. The statues in Mattapan Square. We don't have what we deserve. Mattapan Tea Station. We don't have what we deserve. We signed off on that stuff. Mattapan Library, same thing. I'm sorry, but I spent many nights going to these meetings, and trust me, I will continue to fight for the support that goes on in this community. I'm sorry. I gotta go.
No problem. Much love.
I love
Do
you
you
too,
mind if
girl.
does anybody mind if we just try to continue because we do have these three did, but we still have ONS from Asia and the elected officials. Is that okay? Did I do that? All right.
Yes, you
Elected
can.
officials. Oh, thank you. Elected officials. Who's here? Who's still? Uh-oh. Let's see. Rep Russell Holmes. Let's start. Since you were here, I think you were the earliest. So I would like to acknowledge. Do you want to come off too? Okay.
Come back to me. I'm in the middle of prayer. So come back to me.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let's see. I think I saw, oh, Diane.
Evening, everyone. Diana Bronchuk here from Councillor Papen's office. The councillor
welcomed baby girl number 3 earlier in January, January 20th. She came quite a number weeks later than we thought she was going to come, but I guess it was cold and a lot was going on in the world that she was like, let me just keep cooking. But she is alive and well as mom. So the counselor has still on leave, but is returning into the office for council meetings. We officially had our first real council meeting last Wednesday, the 28th. He was assigned the chair position of Housing and Development, as well as the Community Preservation Act committees. So we're excited to be leading those efforts. And otherwise, this Wednesday is another council meeting. We have filed a hearing order about snow removal programs, ranging from not only looking at programs to assist our elderly and our residents with disabilities with snow removal, but also what can we do differently? Because I think all of us can agree that we kind of forgot what Mother Nature is capable of last week, and Public Works tried, I will say. It was no easy feat with getting over 20 inches of snow in less than 24 hours, and those crews were working 24/7 for like at least a week afterwards, and they're still doing some work right now. I know that there's definitely been, especially in the Wellington Hill area, going out there and plowing a bit more. So if you are still noticing sidewalks that haven't been cleared out, flag it to 311, reach out to our office, we'll assist. I know Councilor Worrell's office has also been assisting too. So sorry, Angela, I know you were probably going to mention that in your notes. Otherwise,
Yes, you stole my stuff.
I know it's the beauty of going first, Angela. Next time you can go first. Otherwise, we're looking at refiling our safe school zones, private ways conversation, as well as starting the conversation about camera enforcement. There is a bill going through the State House right now. I believe there's going to be a hearing about it in mid-March about if red light cameras or traffic cameras could be used with enforcement. I know it is a conversation topic for sure. And I know that there's definitely some safety and data concerns. And that's why we want to have the conversation now and to see like if City of Boston does choice into this, how would we be able to make sure that all citizens are safe with it? So with that, I forgot to add my information in the chat. I will do so, but happy to answer any questions. I saw some eye raises, so bring it.
One thing, I do have a question, and actually I'll leave it to Rep. Holmes. It had to do with National Grid. Angela, for Councilor Worrell's office?
Yes, we need to flip a coin the next time because
next time you
Diana
can go
goes first all the time.
I did not notice that.
Once upon a time, it used to be me, our office first, but I don't know. We got demoted, so I don't know what happened.
Oh, ouch, that hurts.
But like Diana said, that our office has been busy nonstop with the phone calls about the snow banks and streets not clean. So please feel free to call our office, and I put my number in the chat. No small issue is too small. Just call us, and we're there to assist you. Because we heard the frustrations that day after day, so we got you. The council was assigned chair of I should know this by heart, but not yet because it just got the assignment. He's the chair of the Environmental Justice, Resiliency, and Parks, and also Labor and Economic Development, to include former committees on small businesses and professional license. So those are his committees. The first day of the city council meeting was last Wednesday, and he refiled at least 20 pieces of legislation. So he is very busy trying to do what he can for District 4. So he's hit the ground running with filing at least 20 pieces of legislation. Some of these were from last year that he's following up on for this year. And my last piece would be we have our senior Love and Laughter senior luncheon on Valentine's Day. So please, I tried to put it in the chat, the attachment, but it's not allowing me to. So it's February 14th, 11 a.m. to 3
Okay.
p.m. at Prince Hall. So please call our office if you do want to attend to RSVP because we need to know at least how many people. So far, we have like 200. So wow, that's a lot of people. But 2 years ago, we had the same number. So it's fun time. So just give us a phone call. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I don't know. And Rep Holmes is ready. Not yet.
I am ready, yes.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. No, please
All
don't
right.
apologize.
Good evening, everyone. I
Good
know
evening.
I am behind. I'm going to start with just giving you my office number, which is 617-722-2220. I still just try to encourage everyone. I know I responded to some emails about um, obviously snow not being removed. I am trying my best not to escalate every single one of them until there's just nothing that if it doesn't get done, I will escalate some, as I don't want every time I reply that they say, hey, brother, Rep Holmes thinks every one of his things are of the highest priority. So I did do some of the emails I saw was around Hillsborough. I did right in front of Flames. That actually is the state road. So the state road people sent me an email. They're going to try to work on that. And I did do near on Wellington Hill. So I have seen those emails and not seen all of the others that may have been just in group emails that I was not included in. I'm going to spend my time on just reminding everyone that we have some challenging days ahead, in particular with some of the what we call OB3, the Big Beautiful Bill. As you may know, on tomorrow, TPS in all likelihood become more of a challenge for particularly those who are Haitian. And so I did work with the lieutenant governor as I had a call over the weekend with someone who unfortunately, or fortunately in some ways, was getting a severance package and getting a payout because of the fact that their employer wanted to um, make sure they paid them before the third because of the fact that they were concerned if they were still working on the third, they may not be able to do that. So please continue to send whatever concerns you have that I will then forward over to Ayan and her team. But the challenge that we're trying to work on at the state level is making sure that if you have been working and your employer has to let you go because of TPS, that we're trying to work through the kinks now in anticipation of unemployment, because we're hoping we can still get even around the federal concerns, because unemployment, for those who don't know, is federal, comes to some of the subsidies from federal. And so the Lieutenant Governor and I do know about it. She is working with her chief counsel so that we're anticipating that's what's going to happen with those on TPS. The other thing that I will say just on the federal perspective, um, we've heard a lot about all of the healthcare changes that are coming. Most of those healthcare changes that are coming really don't go into effect until January of next year, but you'll start to get the letters and things in October of this year for Mass Health and the like. We are going to do everything we can. I was on a call today with Mass Health. We're, just under a year out, trying our best to make sure that everyone who whether it be the work requirement, whether it be making sure that you get your data in. We're doing all we can in anticipation for the changes that are happening or anticipate happening because of the bill to keep as many people in healthcare as possible. And the third thing of the big change is, of course, some may know, but cash assistance and food stamps has now a work requirement that you have to work at least 80 hours a month. There's very little that we can do about that, as that is truly one of the changes that came out of the bill that is all federal and nothing that we can do about the state. So we're going to try our best to help those who fall into this place where they're not able to qualify. But obviously, if you volunteer, there are ways to still qualify. But that is in the big beautiful bill that we cannot make changes to it. It is all federal. So continue to call us to state level as we try our best to endure with these changes that are happening at the federal level. We certainly recognize the people. I cannot believe how much we have an administration that robs from the poor to give to the rich, and that continues to happen. But we're going to do our best to help those who are in need. I'll take any questions anybody have any. I know you said, Fatima, you had a question.
Yes, thank you for the information. First, so if you need any information about TPS, is that able to find that out on the state's mass.gov site or?
It is there,
Okay.
but if someone's actually, what I was asking the Lieutenant Governor to do and her team was to create something that I could start to send out. And so
Okay.
he said they were going to do that,
Okay.
the chief counsel. And once I get that, I can send that over to you, Fatima, to send.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Secondly, this has to do with National Grid. So I think a lot of people heard that the governor was releasing, I think, $100 million going toward some sort of programming to help people to lower the cost for their gas bills, I believe, or I don't know if it's electricity and gas. But one thing recently, for this month, I received within my bill from National Grid, it said that they were going to be lowering the costs up until April, but beginning in May, they were going to take those whatever savings that happened in February, March, and April and add them to my May bill.
That is
Is
a true
that
statement. And not only were they going to add them to your May bill, but they were going to also charge you interest.
right? Exactly. So is that
So the
still
interest
going to be
part,
happen? Is
so
that
the
still
interest
happening?
part, they have relented and they're no longer going to do that part. But I can tell you that the House and Senate will work on our own solution around energy affordability. And when we had that meeting, some of the things that stood out most important to me was, and to the Black and Latino caucus, was to make sure that we end this practice of third-party suppliers knocking on our doors. That's
Yes.
we feel like that's number one. We find solutions for, hey, you put solar panels on our houses and then we can't find you 10 years later. We need to create a fund and demand that these folks who put solar panels up on our roofs and things of that
Yes.
nature have a fund or have something that we can be able to get in touch with them. We need to make sure that as we look at mass saves, that more of that money goes to those who are low income and not pushing us to have to go put heat pumps in our homes. And things that we necessarily cannot afford. How about still, some of us would like to just get a new furnace. And so we are in the middle of those heated discussions about what we think, how do we get more to renters instead of it only just being owners, and how do we lower the cost of those who are renting. So we believe, certainly in the House, I'm sure in the Senate, they're going to have their own ideas, but we are coming around energy affordability before the session is over. We've had a number of meetings in the House in particular. In the Senate, I know is in some discussions as well. We do not believe the governor's answer is the entire answer. We have to do everything we can to try to lower these costs as they have just gotten out of control.
Right.
So we will be doing something, meaning I am pretty certain House and Senate will come to some compromise before the end of this year to do everything we can to drive down these bills.
Okay. Thank you so much. David, do you have a question? You're on
Okay.
mute.
Yeah, hi. It's not really a question. I just want to bring to everybody's attention. I'm Chief External Affairs Office for Ethos, and we do have a shortfall with Meals on Wheels, and we're the sole provider of meals for seniors. And this big, beautiful bill is really affecting some programs for our seniors, and one program just closed today. So I just, whatever help, folks could give us. I mean, I got to find $1 million. I got to find $500,000. Our seniors are at risk. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
And it's called the Big Ugly Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, these folks, sometimes it's the only meal they can eat or get or receive. And also, our Meals on Wheels programs aren't just about feeding people. We're actually checking on the seniors and making sure they're okay. We need
And
this.
that might be the only time they get checked on, when you go
Yeah,
feed them.
absolutely.
Absolutely. It's not
Absolutely.
just a food. It's about making sure you're checking in. And these folks, like I say, robbing from the poor to give to the rich is absolutely insane. I'll keep my mouth quiet. I know we're past time. So
That's okay. Thank you. Last person, but not least, Asia.
Hey everyone, so sorry.
No,
So I will have to run through my updates quickly because I just actually recently got a fellowship, super exciting, but they are based out of California. So I will be on another call until 11 o'clock tonight. Neither here nor there. I have all my updates and I'm also going to include my email because I know I have to hop off really quickly. If you have any questions, I still want you to reach out to me because I'd love to chat. Neither here nor there. Here are my updates.
Okay. Oh, no, I wasn't sure if you knew if you had to just paste them because you had to go to class or something. Is that what you were saying?
Oh no, I have my fellowship call right after this. Yeah. So I'll be hopping from meeting to meeting.
Okay. Go right ahead.
All right. So nothing too crazy so far, but did want to share that I will be having my office hours. That will be this Friday, the 30th. Oh no, not the 30th. Oh my gosh. That is this Friday.
The 5th?
Yeah, the 6th, technically, I think. Yes, that's
Yeah,
what
6th, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll have an office hour on the 6th. Thanks, Fatima. At Brothers from 10:30 to 11:30. So feel free to swing by. Would love to chat. Also, definitely want to be sure to highlight that we will be having a community meeting regarding the development over at 1471 Blue Hill Ave. This development has already been approved, but we do know we've heard some things in the community in regards to what's going on. So we definitely want to be sure we're giving residents an opportunity to provide us feedback and really let us know what's going on. So with that, I'm also going to send a feedback form for residents to submit and add any questions they may have, add any feedback. That way we'll be able to inform the meeting through community. I'm also going to make sure I attach the Zoom registration as well. Also want to let people know about some grant opportunities that we have. Of course, we have the Age Strong Rolling grants. Those are always around, and those are funding opportunities to support programs benefiting older adults. We also have our Let's Play Boston Release grant. And essentially what it does is support like play and recreational activities and initiatives across the city. And those applications close at the end of this month on the 28th. We also have our Learn and Earn Summer 2026 applications. Those close on the 9th of this month. And we also have our Success Youth Employment Job Programs for Summer 26 and the school year of 2026 to 2027. And those opportunities close, I believe it looks like the 6th, so this week. So definitely want to encourage people to apply. So the last two grants that I was speaking of, essentially what it does is you can sign up if you know someone that has like a small business or any kind of business. People are able to sign up for this grant, and what the city will do is they'll partner you with youth. And yeah, these youth essentially will be able to work for you. You'll be able to teach them some hands-on skills. So we always try to get a variety of different participants involved in this initiative. So if you know someone, tell a friend to tell a friend. I would say it's pretty great. And everyone that I've connected with that's taken advantage of the program has seen great benefit. And as always, yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys to subscribe to my newsletter and I'll throw everything in the chat. But yeah, I will have to hop off. But I appreciate you all.
Thank you. That is really a wrap. One thing, Dariella already left, but I do want to mention.
Ken, I'm sorry. I know I said I was going to say anything else.
I'm
but,
sorry. I'm
can
sorry.
I just say the chief counsel for the governor's office just sent me a text. Her text says that good news, the Haitian TPS case, the decision was stayed and everyone would keep their work authorization unless the government appeals successfully to the Supreme Court. So that is the latest change. So TPS has been stayed for the moment.
Whoa. Seriously?
Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for
I didn't
telling
want to
us.
say that. That was their hope from the beginning, but they didn't
Right,
want me
right.
I have to call my CEO.
Okay.
Thank you.
They will
Thank
probably
you.
appeal, though. You know they're going to probably go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but we have the last day for several people in my office is tomorrow.
Yes, I know, and that was my point. There were some people who got laid off as of today because they didn't want to take it to the 3rd. So
All right,
that
great.
is the latest answer.
All right, great. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you, Representative.
Thank
That means a
that's
lot to so many of us. I'll be
Yeah.
calling my family tonight.
Thank you so much.
yeah, it's great news.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta call.
All right. One thing I want to say before we all sign off is that Dariella, DVM Housing Partners, in keeping her promise to the GMNC community, they will be having students from Madison Park, both from the electrical and plumbing, coming to work, intern on their sites. So that was a promise that they had made some years ago to us, and they're keeping it. So, yeah, so that's really wonderful that Madison Park students, the city's only vocational school, actually get to start in the trades, which is great news. So with that good information, with that good news, I just want to say I wish everyone a healthy, happy good evening, and I love you all, but you gotta go.
Bye-bye. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Everyone.
Thank you. Nice meeting everyone. Thank you.